Oh, Colorado. But see, Colorado is way more like interesting to get invested in.
Yeah, but
It's
just
way more.
I only like to get invested because I can't stand them, and it's beautiful when they lose.
Okay, well there you go. Then
So,
you have something to look forward to every Saturday when Colorado plays. Do you know what fan base might be more down in the dumps than University of Florida?
Florida State,
Florida State
them
University.
them boys in where are they? Tallahassee.
Yeah. The boys in Tallahassee. So Florida State, and here's the thing. Hey,
Also, yeah, I said if they lose the chop. They lost to BC.
see, here's the thing. Maybe a Florida State fan sees this and they're, oh, Gator, you're a Gator fan or whatever. Relax, relax.
Yeah, no, this
I
is
know
not.
we
This is
suck.
not
Like, yes, the Gators suck, but so do y'all. So do y'all. And because here's the thing, we're talking expectations, Devin. We're talking expectations.
but even without expectations,
No,
this is worse.
oof, I'm just saying though. I'm just saying though, the way they ran their mouth all off season,
All off season.
the way they still ran their mouth after losing to Georgia Tech.
But also, what team goes undefeated one year and then loses the first two games to unranked in division garbage schools?
Ranked 10th in the country.
10th in the nation.
Ranked 10th in the country, and they lose to unranked Georgia Tech. And now, okay, all right. You got butterflies. You lose a close game to Georgia Tech.
It's in Ireland.
Whatever.
It's all this. There's a bunch of press, whatever. It's a tight game. You lose by a field goal.
You get your
This
ass kicked by Boston College
booty
at home.
wet.
That's a problem.
Dog.
That's a big
28 to
problem.
15 is a very big problem. DJ Ugalakalihi,
Garbage.
21 of 42.
Bro, it was like in the fourth quarter at one point it was like 200 to 21 in rushing yards. It was crazy. I mean,
that's terrifying. Team stats, rushing yards, 21 rushing yards by FSU to 263.
Do you remember what was going to happen though if Florida State lost?
They would become a Division II team, FCS school.
There was a Florida State fan that said he'll eat dog shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Said he said he will record himself eating dog shit.
Pull it up.
And he will post it. So I'm waiting for that. That's what I'm waiting for.
Honestly, I'm more interested in what breed of dog it is.
What breed of dog it is, how he got it.
I want to see the dog shit it. I want it to be in like a cold area, and I want to see the steam from the hot shit as
it could be honestly.
Forks it into his mouth.
I need him to walk directly into his backyard. I need to pull him up, pull it out of the grass, stuck to it, and chunk. Big old.
Now, would you rather see him eat like a fresh shit or like one of those shits that is now turning white?
I don't care.
I'd like to see a hot one.
I don't care. It's dog shit.
Like Krispy Kreme. I want to see the hot and freshy sign, and I want to see him.
It's just, I mean, like, it's like no matter how bad, like, it is being a Gator fan right now, like, we're not 0-2 top 10 in the country with, like, the most expectations in the world. Like, we were, like, Florida.
Y'all didn't have an undefeated season last year.
Florida State spent all offseason, like, yep, now that the playoff format's different, now we're in.
They spent the whole offseason suing the NCAA.
They might miss the playoffs.
They will miss the playoffs.
See,
2 losses to unranked. No, they're missing the playoffs.
Okay, theoretically,
there will be 12 teams better.
Theoretically, though, if they go 10-2, it's like you don't know how this.
No, I know, but it's the ACC.
But I'm saying though, if they go 10-2, you don't know how the
season. But it's no, I understand. It is 12. And it's different.
I'm saying the first loss, it was like they might miss the playoffs. Nah, I mean 12 teams are gonna make it. Now it's like, oh shit. Like, they are missing the playoff. They might just miss the play. Like, when I say...
This team might not get a bowl game. That's how bad this team could be. We don't know. If you lose 28 to 13 to BC, you could lose every game this year.
And for the first time in a while, Miami is like the king of Florida. They're the kings of Florida.
Miami is the kings, bro. This is early 2000s.
It was. You got to think, like, obviously, Florida had their run. Florida State had their run. There was a time where, like, UCF was like, we're undefeated. Fuck with us.
Sure. Yeah.
And now Miami shit, after week 1, it's like, whoa.
Well, UCF they were national champs.
Oh,
They're unofficial national champs.
wait.
There was a season they went undefeated and they beat, I think, the two teams in the final
Yeah,
of the,
yeah, I was gonna
and
say
they've claimed
but that's the thing. Like, it's like, we
national
should.
champs.
We should have made the playoffs. They're a Florida State type team.
Sure,
It's like, but now after shit, you got Florida State's already 0-2, lost to
Florida
two
State's
unranked
shot.
teams. Miami just beat the dog shit out of Florida. I mean,
Yes,
it's Miami's world, and
big
you know
time.
what? You know what? The best thing about it, like, out of all the rivalries, I don't, I can stand Miami.
Yeah, you feel the less to
Like,
it.
Florida State, when they get to talking, it's
Hatred,
like,
dirty
Georgia,
hate.
when Georgia gets to talking, it's like,
Now,
But
correct me if
Miami,
I'm wrong. Y'all don't play Miami every year.
no, it was, they were reading off all the stats
Been a
up
while.
till 19 whatever, or however,
Yeah,
whatever we played every single year, but then things changed, and then now, but we're considered a rivalry.
of
At this
course.
point, doesn't it feel like it? Only because it's in
Right now,
state.
yeah.
Like, it's in state, but it's like, okay, so if we play USF, it doesn't feel like an in-state rivalry. At
No,
this point, that's more of a level of competition. If we're talking rivalry, like,
that's a
U-
tighter matchup.
USF might.
Now, I'm honestly interested to see how FSU and y'all are going to match up. I think that could be interesting.
No, that's the thing. FSU, they'll get their shit together by the time they play us.
We don't know
I know, I know that.
that.
They're Devin. Trust
maybe
me,
just against y'all.
Devin. They might go 0-10 or
Yeah,
0-11. They will have their shit together for us. Don't
y'all are
worry.
the last game of the season.
Always,
Oh, really? Okay.
all the time.
Because I know Georgia's mid-season.
But I mean, you do know that the last game of the season is always like rivalries. Like, you never
I guess
noticed
that's true.
that. Do you notice that?
A little bit.
You don't ever
Honestly,
notice that.
this is probably going to be the first year that I truly pay attention to college football, and that just
What?
being because I mean I've never really been a super college football fan. Most of my energy goes to the NFL, and I don't have a team that I enjoy watching. Um, but also, I mean, for a long time, you just get that feeling where it's like there's four teams who can make it. It's going to be a similar four, or you're going to get like a TCU thrown in there who shouldn't be there and gets blown out 52-8 in the Natty. So I feel like now with NIL and the 12-team playoff and all this stuff, I feel like everything's a lot closer because the gap between like the Alabama, Clemson, Georgia
Mm-hmm.
was up here, and then everyone else started down here,
Mm-hmm.
and there was just such a gap.
Yeah.
This feels so much better now. This feels like a watchable season.
It's
Like
bro.
a very.
It's
This
a
is probably going to
league.
be the most exciting college football season of my watching career, but I think a lot of people.
It's a league. It's a league now.
No, this is a
Like,
real league now. Yeah,
it
like
is a real
because
league
there
now.
are essentially trades and transfers and all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and no one's locked in anywhere, and you can go somewhere else and go make more money and all this shit. So yeah, I think it'll be great.
Oh, okay. Georgia.
Is there college fantasy?
Shit, probably eventually. I mean,
I don't know how that even would
yeah,
work.
there probably will be at some point. No,
SEC
I don't
fantasy?
believe there is right now, but
Yeah.
I feel like it could eventually be. So for the first half of Georgia's game, I was like, all right, maybe.
Wait, no, you texted me. You said Georgia's trash.
Well, okay, because I'm watching this game and I'm like,
Yeah, no,
bro.
agreed. Yeah,
I mean, I'm like, Georgia's playing like shit. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
even bro after the game was like, yeah, like, yeah, we definitely had to get our shit together. A lot of adjustments at the second half. I mean, it was 14-7.5,
Yeah.
and I was like, whoa. But the thing about why did I already forget who Georgia played? Georgia,
Clemson.
Clemson. You're right. My only thought is, because it's week 1 and just
Mm.
something that I'm gonna look for Georgia and Clemson is, was there a possibility that Georgia had their best second half they will have all season, and Clemson had their worst second half they'll have all season? Like, down the line, if Clemson's
Yeah,
5-1, it's like, okay, like, I might want to see a rematch between these two teams. I
sure.
might want to, like, I mean, obviously after what Georgia did in the second half, it's like obviously there's no expectation but them to
Sure.
be what they've been the past few years, and that's just the most dominant, one of the most dominant schools. Um,
Yeah, to me, this felt more like Georgia just doing what Georgia was supposed to do. Clemson only scored 3 points. They kicked a field goal in the third, and that was all they had. So, yeah, to me, this felt like how the game should have gone. Obviously, it was a terrible second half by Clemson defensively and offensively, but this is a score I would have expected between, again, the gap between a Georgia and then the gap between a high level ACC team.
but what's that? So 1-14. So that's
What's up?
one.
Yeah,
So
1-14.
I
Yeah.
mean, if is that really what? So what's 1-12 going to be like? You know
Well,
what?
no, I'm hoping by year's end we can. I mean, these are preseason rankings, so hopefully we can. They can master a better 12. But I think for the time being, there's still going to be a little bit of a gap between, obviously, and Georgia.
And then Oregon. Now, okay, this one was confusing. Oregon beats Idaho, 24-14.
Yeah,
It
that
was a
was weird.
it was a close game for a while.
Was
And I'm
Oregon ranked?
third. They're number 3. Oregon
I
is
think they're
number
unranked now.
Oregon is number 3 in the country. Um, or went into this game number 3 in the country. And here's the
Yeesh.
thing. Here's the thing. I know like Colorado runs their mouth and we had to shit on them. But you gotta shit on Oregon. They barely.
Idaho honestly didn't realize that they had a team. I thought it was Boise State that had a
Devan,
decent
Idaho is
football
an
team.
FCS school.
Oh, brother. Yeah, no, this is not allowed. They were ranked third.
Third ranked team in the
Get the
country.
fuck out of here.
Barely.
You know,
Barely.
and this was I'm assuming, I think the game was close.
It was close for a long time. It was close for a long time. I mean, at one point it was like, "Fuck, is Idaho about to beat Oregon?" Like, I mean, there were definitely thoughts. I mean, I don't know. You know, you had those
It was
games.
17-14 at one point.
You had you have games where it's like you can just tell
Yeah,
like all that team has to do is just kick into the next gear and they're gonna take
sure.
over.
Agreed. Like
It
Jordan.
didn't feel like that. Like it felt
Really?
like it felt like just a competitive game, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. So just across the board, we got teams from Colorado to top 3 teams in the country just getting dog walked by FCS schools.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
when I say dog walk, yeah, I mean dog walk.
No, any game that is competitive is a dog walk.
Yeah, yeah. I don't care if you still won. You
No,
got dog walk.
it's not a win if you beat an FCS school by 10 and you're fucking ranked.
No,
Even if you're not ranked,
no,
you shouldn't even be close.
exactly. I mean, the Colorado thing was bad, but you're third in the country.
That's brutal.
It was bad. But then my game. What's up?
Just real quick, Oregon's kicker, his name is Atticus Sappington. A wonderful name.
And then my game of the week, USC versus LSU.
Yeah.
I mean, just obviously.
What, 23?
27-20?
USC?
No.
Ranking,
yeah.
23 to 13?
23-13. 23 USC ranked. LSU was ranked 13. Game finished 27-20. I mean, just back and forth the whole game. It was competitive. It was down to the wire. See, I was close. I was leaning towards like Notre Dame and A&M.
Sure.
It was slow. I mean, and then it picked up. But there was just so much hype around Notre Dame and A&M leading up. Like all day, they were previewing that game while I was watching Florida Miami, and I was like, okay. I was like, all right, let's see what they're talking about. And then this LSU USC game just punched me in the face.
Sure.
And I mean, maybe it was the Vegas vibe. Maybe it was just it was a kickoff.
It was under
game.
big lights.
It was treated like a big game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it came down touchdown with 8 seconds left. I mean, it was a nail biter.
Yeah.
And you know, as a SEC fan, it was
Love
nice to see LSU lose.
But yeah, there was something with the penalty for celebration after an LSU touchdown.
I want to say it happened twice on the same receiver.
Okay, bro, put up.
He was celebrating.
And then did it on the sideline like he didn't give a fuck.
What he was like showing like, "Oh, this is what I was doing."
He was like, "Oh, doing it."
Yeah, I mean, mistakes happen, but sometimes players throw cleats on third downs and get like you see, like LSU's been on both sides of that story.
Sure.
They've gotten penalties for taunting, but then they've also been in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and it's been 3rd and 15, and then what's his name? Quincy Wilson picks up a shoe and chucks it across the field.
I do remember that. Was that what 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Congrats.
But yeah, I mean, besides those were the games that I mean watched the most. There were a couple other games that I like tuned into, like Penn State and West Virginia. But then I mean Penn State kind of.
I saw some highlights from that, but
they kind of took off on that. So
WVU is none.
It was cool though. It was a good week one as a viewer of college football. It was a good week one. As a Gator fan, it was awful. But to be honest, the game put me to sleep.
Sure.
The game. I mean, I was fighting sleep trying to watch that game.
Yeah.
I was nodding back and forth. It was a tough watch.
Next week is going to be some trash.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Next week will be trash, and this will be one of maybe 2 Gator wins this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to them.
Hopefully not, but
they might beat Sanford. But you know what? I'm not gonna do? Talk about it.
Unless, oh no, we're not talking about Sanford, but any other notable wins we will discuss.
I'm not reviewing that game. I'm not predicting that game. I'm not Florida.
Now, if y'all lose, which I don't want to put that on nobody, but
why would you even say that?
That's apologies.
See, why would you even say? Why would you?
I'm creative. The brain goes to different areas.
Why would you even say something like that? Anyways, we do got a game to predict though.